England has never been better than when it thought it might die. It's a strange sentence, almost uncomfortable to hear out loud. But if you look honestly at English history, it's hard to deny the pattern. The country seems to reach its greatest clarity, not during stability, but during existential threat. And that should worry you, because if a nation performs best when it believes everything is at stake, what happens when nothing appears to be? When bombs were falling on London during the Second World War, England produced some of the most decisive leadership and moral clarity the country had ever seen. Factories ran day and night, citizens organized themselves, political divisions temporarily disappeared. People knew exactly what they were defending and exactly what they were fighting against. The language of the time reflected that clarity: duty, sacrifice, survival. But look at England today. There are no bombs falling, no invading armies on the coast, no food shortages threatening daily life. Yet somehow the national conversation feels more confused than ever. Without a clear external threat, England seems unsure of its own purpose. Identity provocation. The problem isn't intelligence. England still produces world-class scientists, economists, and thinkers. It isn't wealth. London remains one of the largest financial centers on Earth, and it certainly isn't history. Few countries possess a deeper or more influential historical legacy. What England increasingly lacks is something less tangible but far more important. Look at England during wartime and compare it to England during long periods of peace. During war, something powerful happens. Society becomes focused. Citizens feel connected to a shared struggle. The country develops a sense of moral direction that cuts through political noise. In contrast, long periods of peace often produce something very different. Management replaces purpose. Bureaucracy replaces conviction. Debates become technical rather than moral. Instead of asking, what must we defend? The national conversation becomes, how should we manage things? Withheld thesis. And this isn't about left versus right. It's not even about the current government or Keir Starmer. The pattern goes back much further than modern party politics. This is about something deeper in the national psychology, something shaped by centuries of history. Because if England is only at its best when facing crisis, then peace itself may create a strange problem. Not collapse, not immediate decline, but drift. And drift can slowly change the trajectory of an entire country. There's something uncomfortable we haven't said yet. England doesn't just perform better during war, it comes alive. Surprise insight. During peace, the national conversation revolves around systems, regulations, procedures, and policies. But during war, something else takes over. People stop arguing about small details and start arguing about the big questions. What are we protecting? What are we willing to sacrifice for? What kind of country do we want to be? Those questions carry emotional weight. They create unity even when people disagree politically. This is why wartime leaders often sound different from peacetime politicians. They don't always sound clever. They sound certain. Certainty moves nations. When Winston Churchill spoke during the darkest moments of the Second World War, his speeches didn't rely on complicated policy arguments. They relied on conviction. He told the country exactly what was at stake and what it would take to survive. And millions of people responded to that clarity. Now ask yourself something. When was the last time you felt proud of your country without irony? When was the last time you felt part of something larger than yourself? Something that demanded more than just participation in daily routines. For many people, that feeling has become rare. Withheld conclusion. And here's the uncomfortable implication. If a country only feels whole when it faces a threat, then peace might create an identity problem. Not because peace is bad, but because peace removes the pressure that forces a nation to define itself. Without that pressure, purpose becomes optional, and optional purpose slowly fades. Promise of payoff, which leads to an unsettling possibility. England may drift toward moments of crisis not because it desires chaos, but because crisis restores clarity. So here's the uncomfortable conclusion. England doesn't primarily have a leadership crisis. It has a purpose crisis. Reframe responsibility away from politicians. We spend enormous amounts of time searching for better political managers, better policies, better systems, better administrative reforms. But systems and policies only work effectively when a nation already knows why it exists. Without a shared sense of direction, management becomes the entire project, and management alone rarely inspires people. Controversial but defensible line. The most dangerous thing for England right now may not be poor leadership. It may be the absence of a unifying challenge. Throughout its history, England often discovered its strongest values when survival itself was uncertain. During those moments, national identity became unmistakably clear. Clarification. Avoid warmongering. That doesn't mean war is good. War is destructive and tragic, but history shows something important. Clarity often arrives during moments of danger, and in peaceful times, nations sometimes lose that clarity. So the real question today isn't whether modern leaders are weaker than Churchill. It's whether modern citizens still demand purpose, or whether we've become comfortable simply being managed. Can a country built on centuries of sacrifice continue to thrive if it no longer believes there is anything worth sacrificing for, or will it slowly drift, waiting for some future crisis to remind it what it stands for? If you think England can rediscover a clear sense of purpose without facing a major crisis, explain how. And if you think it can't, be honest about what that might mean for the future. Because history suggests this may not be a temporary phase. It may be a pattern, and patterns tend to repeat until something finally breaks them. So tell me in the comments, how does England rediscover its purpose on the world stage? And if you enjoyed this kind of deeper analysis, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content like this.